In effort to comply with the final regulations of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, or WIOA for short, this training has been created to provide local Workforce Development Board members with an overview of the updated eligible training provider list, or ETPL for short, policy and process that were recently approved. The eligible training provider list has been around for quite a few years. Under previous legislation, known as the Workforce Investment Act, or WIA, Iowa had a waiver of some of the regulations mandated by that act. This included the requirement for regular reviews. That means that once programs were approved and placed on the ETPL, they would stay on the list indefinitely. The application also required much less information under WIA. The ETPL was managed by keeping the list on a simple spreadsheet, which was accessible on the Iowa Workforce Development website. The Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act was passed in 2014 and included changes to the ETPL. Some of these changes include the collection of much more information during the application and eligibility process, and the requirement of regular reviews, which can no longer be waived. Iowa Workforce Development launched a new data management system called Iowa Works on June 3, 2019. This data management system included a specific module for managing the ETPL. The implementation of this system and specific module helped bring the state into compliance with regulations of WIOA. At the time of implementation, Iowa ETPL policy stated that the decision to approve or deny potential programs to be placed on the ETPL was a responsibility of the local workforce development boards. This created the need for a paper application, which training providers completed and submitted to local workforce development boards for approval. If approved, the training provider would then submit their program through the Iowa Work system. On September 20th, 2019, the State Workforce Development Board approved updated policy which shifted the burden of approving programs to state staff within Iowa Workforce Development. This change eliminated the need for providers to first submit a paper application to their local Workforce Development Board for approval before submitting the program through Iowa Works. Providers wishing to have their training program placed on the ETPL can do so by accessing the Iowa Works system at www.iowaworks.gov. If programs meet eligibility requirements outlined in policy, those programs will be placed on the ETPL under initial eligibility for 1 year. Then programs will need to reapply for continued eligibility and do so every 2 years thereafter. Local workforce development boards retain control of which types of programs they are willing to fund by outlining those details in their local plans. Compliance with the ETPL policy will help ensure the state remains in compliance with the final regulations of WIOA. Local workforce development boards and their service providers will be monitored for compliance with policy and standard operating procedures during regular WIOA Title I programmatic monitoring. Please contact ETPL at iwd.iowa.gov with any questions. Thank you.